Hi there. In a previous class, we just talked about the width and the height, a kind of dimension thing. So I'm just going to talk about them in this class. So what is it? PX. We just talked about it previously. So a single point means a PT is equal to the PX. A PX means pixel. And what is a pixel? People generally does know about the pixel because of the cameras, the webcams they use. So a single pixel is a single point or a single dot we put on our screen, or we can see on our screen is actually a single pixel. Now maybe your screen also there was a big deal when we just big dealing with the screen resolution when we just work on the width and the height. Maybe just suppose you have the 1080 pixels screen, 1080 peaks screen, and your friend have the small one. So this does matters. The size, the screen size also matters. Maybe you're getting the element small in your computer because you have the 1920 by 1080 resolution, and your friend doesn't have that much. Your friend can have any small one. So this thing matters on this screen too. So also when we just work on it, when we just work on pixels, so we have to care about the different screen sizes. Maybe you just want this box to be as big as this whole area, or at least the half of the area. So you want this box to be seen as the half of the box, half of the screen. But when you just open the same website, or your friend opens the website in its computer, so it won't get the same because maybe the screen size of that friend is different. So we try to make some fluid layouts instead of the fixed layout. The pixels are a kind of fixed elements. We generally use the pixels on a height. We don't because height cannot be responsive as good as the width can be, because ultimately the height shouldn't be responsive because we can have a lot of data which we need to scroll vertically, but we try to make it possible to not scroll anything horizontally. This is the professional way to work to make a website. And also because of the usability of the mobiles, people try to make every application we should open application or a website or etc, the web template, landing page, etc, for the mobile applications too. So they want the application to be open in a nice look in a mobile, and a nice look in a desktop screen too. So these are the facts. That's why we generally don't use the px with the width. So what we do, we use the percent. Suppose you just want half of the screen, so you'll be using percent, but 400% is much than the half of the screen. Let me guess what is the meaning of the 400. In fact, instead of guessing, just refresh the page, so you'll be getting the thing. You can see that it is too much big. The mean of this actually is width or the height, both can be 100%. If your friend, maybe your friend have a smaller screen, but now what we're just telling, we're telling that the 100% of the screen, or the 400% of the screen, I'm just putting here 100%. So go to the browser back and refresh that. Now it's 100% of the screen. You can see that it's ending there. So it is a 50% of this element is a 50% of the screen. So if your friend has any small screen, it'll still have the same size, means half of the screen, because we are just telling here that it should be 100%, or we can tell it 50% or something like that, or refresh that. Now here, well, one thing I just want to clear to the background size, that we can use there the px, or we can use the percent too. Both ways can be applied there too. This one is a liquid or the float layout, and this one is the fixed layout. Even there are different ways when we just talk about the CSS. So by the way, I think you just understand both of them. Now we can move on to the multiple things. There are multiple things when we just talk about the dimensions more than the height and the width. Just suppose we have the element half of the screen, or I just wanted 25% of the screen, 25% of the screen in width, not in height. I just fixed the element in height. Okay, so there is the element, the 25% of the screen. Okay, cool. Now what more I just want to put some space right after the the border, right after the border. I'm just going there, and to putting any space or height or width out of the border, we use the margin. We just don't put these spaces, or we just don't put the height or width. We just apply margin. We just add margin. So margin, I'm applying around 20 pixels. Even you can apply this into the percent too. Everything you apply in a percent, you can be applied in the percent or the pixel, both in both forms. So refresh that, you can see that there is a 20 pixels, 20 pixels from there and 20 pixels from there. Okay, that's kind of cool, but this is not what I just wanted. Maybe I just want more, so just make it 50 pixels and go there and refresh the page. Okay, now this is 50 pixels from both sides. But what if I just want the only from the top? So there are two ways. You need to know both of the ways. The margin top, only 50 pixels from the margin top. Delete that, save it. Now go to the browser and refresh that. You can see that now only margin top. We are having only margin top. Also in the same way, we can have margin bottom, margin left, and margin right, like margin left or margin right, whatever you want. I just want to apply the 100 pixels from the margin right, margin left, and refresh that. In this case, we are just working, the margin right won't work because the right side is already too far from the element. So what we're going to apply, nothing will work. Okay, but the left will work ultimately. Also, some more things when we just working on the margin top and margin left, note down them please. I'm just gonna talk about some short way, delete them, and also I can do this 100 pixels from top and bottom. And remember that when we just put two values in a margin, the first one will be the top and bottom, and the second one will be the left and right, both left and right. Now save it. Now go to the browser and refresh that. Okay, here you can see that it's only 5. No, I just want 50 pixels, not 5 pixels. So refresh that back, and now you can see that the 50 pixels and 100 pixels from top and bottom. Okay, cool. But maybe you just don't want the space to the bottom, but still you want to use the shorthand. So top, it will be running in a right side, top, right, and the bottom value. This is another way, a little lengthy, but it's still the shorthand. And the left, only 10 pixels from the left. Okay, you can see that only 10 pixels from the bottom. From the top it's 50, and from the right it's 50, maybe 50 or 100 something, 150 and 10. And this is how the margin works. There is another thing. I just want to add a space inside the border. I just want to add a space inside the border, but not with the content. I'm not talking about the background. Background is not actually the content. Background is a background. Even a background content can be a background content, but not the real content. Okay, so inside the border, but this content won't be, this content will be inside the main element, but adding a space inside the border or something like we need to apply the padding. Again, we can use the padding top, padding bottom, padding right, and here I'm just applying the 50 pixels from all sides. So go there, browser, and refresh that. Now you can see that actually the box size also increased. The actual size is still small. You can see that there is a main element which is now the place change, but it's added extra space inside the box before the border, and there the margin is out of the border. So this is how the margin and padding works. And there are really important elements when we just talk about when it just comes to the dimensions. So we need to know both ways. I just talked about 3 ways, so we need to about all the ways we just talked. So that will be really cool, and they're really important. The margin and the padding is really important. We'll be using these things later on a lot of time in a project, so you need to know about them. Stay tuned and goodbye.